afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacast. Me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. Off here to 1 vs 1 on Lost Glider. In the north, it is Brigadier General Mcbain, fighting here for King and Country, the Commonwealth. The Guards Armoured Division here with 30th Corps, forming up with Royal Artillery and Triple Infantry. West in the south, it is Oberst Jesulin, fighting for the Oberkommers, Germany, Deutschland. Rolling out here with the 1 and 7th Pan Brigade with Feursturm, Elite Armoured and Grand Offensive. Triple Infantry is there for Jesulin. Folks going to start their Sturm Pioneers, roll out to the fuel point as swiftly as their feet can carry them. Double sections out there for Mcbain and the Commonwealth. Sections heading eastwards there, slowly moving towards wherever they need. Second Follow Squad on the way there for Jesulin, seizing the point here by the car point, of course, obviously. Sturm Pioneers just rushing for it is important, and then sort of just afterwards securing the other points. So that's sort of that way you get a bit more efficiency in terms of just like capturing points, if you will. Sandbags up there, obviously, to help make it easier to defend. Comparatively, we note here that Mcbain has set nothing like that up around his own car point. They're doing the same around the fuel point, at least. Foxes in the east was there for Jesulin. Second squad there out for the German army. Third section there running for Mcbain. And King and Country, ready to face those dastardly Hunnic bastards. Sandbags here by the centre victory point by Jesulin's Volksgrenadiers. Hard at work there, lobbing up those sandbags and wondering, where does all this sand really come from? Seizing the southern point here, go engage in your section versus Volksgrenadiers. Otto drops dead. That's the section that gets a nice opening shot there on the Volksgrenadier squad. Third one on the way there for Jesulin. No surprises there from Jesulin. No Kugelwagen, no additional Sturm Pioneers, just Volksgrenadiers. Mcbain commending similarly to a heavy infantry build as well, with a 4th infantry section on the way there. Taking minor casualties here, but overall Volksgrenadiers are beginning to bleed out severely in the face of Mcbain's infantry. With superior marksmanship there. Volksgrenadiers are being bled out. Southern point they're secured. Sandbags up as well. Moving west was there with another section. All quiet there. 4th section almost done for Mcbain. Volksgrenadiers heading up for Jesulin. Well, let's see what Jesulin goes for. I mean, he certainly has a few options here versus Mcbain with the doctrines available to him. So we'll be interested to see what exactly Jesulin commits to versus his opponent. Volksgrenadiers are very slowly bleeding out in the face of Mcbain's infantry. Mines up here from Jesulin. And we got Volksgrenadiers ready to push eastwards there versus Mcbain. Looks like, in fact, he will be converging in the centre to try and assist the Volksgrenadiers there. And push through in the centre, maybe go straight for Mcbain's car point and force Mcbain to have to react to that move. A bold aggressive move there. Mines done. I mean, his fuel point though is wide open and he should have seen on the map the victory point being seized. So theoretically, I mean, Mcbain goes straight for the fuel point, causing a mess up there for Jesulin. But so far though, Mcbain is not rushing. But there you go. Going for a deep flank here, sneak up behind Jesulin's forces here. Section of routed. Now he has a point here that's sort of frustrating some of his infantry movements. But at the same time, his section could risk getting surrounded and cleared out. In fact, now we got the truck out for Jesulin, so he has immediately access to incendiary grenades to that way flush out the Inselaffen inside. And there you go, Mcbain falls out of the building as he quickly realises that's not quite panning out the way he had hoped for. In fact, Jesulin's going straight for the car point at the same time. Catching Mcbain off guard there. Note that Mcbain has tagged up. We're probably seeing some fast armoured cars here. Once he gets the resource, of course, onto them will probably be sappers, maybe a sniper to put pressure there on Jesulin. Jesulin with the Kampfgruppe Hauptquartier. So there'll probably be some medics, maybe a flak half-track and some light infantry guns. Sandbags around the fuel point there to make it harder for Jesulin to gain back at it. Good play there, but still he has been cut off from his own fuel. But there's a difference between losing the car point and losing the fuel point, since a fuel point does take longer to get back compared to in a strategic point. Still, quick route there. Jesulin striking with the full fury of the Wehrmacht there. And Mcbain just quickly retreating. But at the same time, Mcbain taking advantage of the fact that Jesulin converged 3 infantry squads to get that fuel point back to then push across the front there. We'll have to see what happens next. So far, nothing further going on there for Mcbain in his base. Lots of troops being reinforced. Sappers on the way there. We'll have to see when he bolsters, because with that many sections, he already has bolstered, in fact. He just hasn't had a chance to sort of reinforce a lot of them. Medical supplies there being handed out. Sandbags up by the centre victory point. We got a victory point lead here so far for Mcbain, though not a massive one, but certainly all 3 victory points under control. That will certainly rapidly increase it versus Jesulin. And we got Jesulin here with Feursturm, opting for a more offensive attack style there versus Mcbain. Flamethrowers being handed to the Sturm Pioneers to flash out those Tommies to burn them out. Of course, there's also signals what's going on, and that's just Basil galloping back and forth across my room. As though he was preparing for some sort of 100-meter sprint. That was weird. Section versus Volksgrenadiers. Back here we got troops reinforcing. We've got the flak half track on the way there for Jesulin and the German army. Followed to take minor casualties as more of infantry from Mcbain are converging on the positions here of the centre victory point. We got the northern one secured there by Jesulin and the German army. Meanwhile, centre one has been rendered neutral, but he cannot maintain the position much longer and has to retreat. In fact, he could even risk getting a wipe there, a bit unlucky. Mine goes off, they're blasting apart a few sappers, giving Jesulin, of course, an easier time in killing them. And blunting their opponent's approach. Some medical supplies up there. No, it's time for medics since he's going for the flak half track here. Jesulin in this case. Well, of course, it could have waited. In fact, appreciates just having healed troops faster out to sort of immediately counterattack his opponent. So, I think that's also the sensible prioritization there from Jesulin to make. Flak half track almost on front with a Kedmaf. He's obviously where he's up against the British. He's going for a flak half track, so that's incredibly likely to invite a AC Mark III to counter it. Something like Kedmaf ready just for that is a pretty damn good idea there from Jesulin. Small force on the west, looks like Jesulin's going to make a big hard move into the east, try and basically play around with Mcbain and keep a bit on guard. In fact, he's likely going to use the flak half track to defend the western territories, while again he commits the never mind. Lion share his force to the east, but actually his main force towards the centre, and then a smaller force to harass the east. But overall, he's making subtle moves here. Overall, aggressive play here by Jesulin, and certainly probably one of the players that to be able to pull it off. Kedma following up. Flak half take on to help defend the western fuel point there from Mcbain and the Guards' armoured advances. Vickers on the way, though I suspect he may decide to go for something else once the flak half track begins tearing him apart. And there you go, lots of troops being bunched up against the flamethrower, a bit risky there. Always keep in mind a flamethrower is an AoE weapon, meaning if there's a lot of troops in the same place, the flamethrower will just get a lot of damage done. It's another reason why it's also so effective as units in heavy cover. It's not just the bonus, it's getting also used because units are bunched up in heavy covers. That way the flamethrower just does extra good. Vickers almost done there for Mcbain so far, not deterred by the arrival of the 251-17 flak half track to give his men a very, very bad day. Fultz holding up their section, just keep layering on lead there against them. Seizing the eastern field point here with the Feursturm and back here, troops healing and forcing. MD-34 almost down there for Jesulin as well. Opening up in the west here. Section getting blasted and pinned down to the ground. Caught laying down the sandbags. They are immediately on the run here. Back here, troops reinforcing. No sign of healing yet there, obviously. Nothing further on there in Mcbain's space either. No sign of the AC Mark III. I mean, there's option he just basically doesn't care about and just wants to go straight for the Valentine tank. I mean, some British players really like the Valentine tank, but I mean, that does give Jesulin's flak half track more runtime on the battlefield without any serious, contesting of it. Which is great for Jesulin, and obviously a bit of bad news from Mcbain's infantry, which are not 20mm high explosive round proof. Follows the need to retreat. MD-34 for the section, catching up there, so of course that's two suppressor weapons from Jesulin versus Mcbain's one. Certainly gives Jesulin a lot of ways to just suppress a lot of Mcbain's infantry, giving him certainly ways of just winning infantry engagements rapidly and just keeping Mcbain a bit off guard. There we go, Sturmpost moving ahead again. The flamethrowers just make it harder for Mcbain to use his heavy cover. So very good investment there for Jesulin. Additionally, of course, the increased damage is also just great for the Sturm Pioneers since it just allows them to veterans up faster. So they can quickly get to veteran free, which again with a flamethrower means they're really lethal. Troops healing reinforcing here. Nothing further going on. Noting we aren't seeing any... Oh, there we go. MP40s on the way for the Volksgrenadiers. Back here, troops healing reinforcing. Nothing further there. Oh, there we go. We got a 6-pounder gun. So yeah, Mcbain here is not going to go for the AC Mark III. Likely a Valentine or some fast Cromwells here versus Jesulin. We got mines up there. Lots of mines, in fact, here from Mcbain to slow up infantry, but also vehicle movements. And of course, with the flamethrower, I mean, there is the particular bit that Jesulin does not have access to minesweepers. I mean, the other has to go for another Sturm Pioneer squad, no matter what then. So... I mean, this certainly gives Mcbain plenty of incentive to just lay down a lot of mines here versus Jesulin, so that's very good. For Mcbain, not good for Jesulin. Not good for Jesulin. Quite the opposite. You don't want to encourage your opponent to be laying down a lot of mines against you. Quite the opposite. Sturm Pioneers are slowly approaching Veteran Free as they are rapidly going through Mcbain's infantry. Sam's getting close here, but up close again. In this case, the section there assists as well, forcing the Sturm Pioneers to fall back. Flak half track the road to cover the retreat and of course prevent any CC of the centre victory points. So eastern one also being grabbed here, and farther up north another engagement. I mean, right now there's engagement happening across all points here. And Jesulin with a larger number of suppressive weapons is making it harder here for Mcbain to just, exploit this. Looks like he's just leaving the MG34 to guard the fuel point. He wants to keep that out of Mcbain's hands for understandable reasons. Jesulin going for light infantry, got a bit of artillery support there for his men is a good idea. A very good idea. Mcbain, meanwhile, seems very much tied to the whole Valentine tank plan for now. You could also be taking up and just trying to rush out a Cromwell or Centaur here, but Mcbain seems like he just wants to hold out for the Valentine tank for now. Puts pressure on Jesulin with that one. But they're taking losses and hits there from the sections. Down here, Vickers section versus full grenades. We've got the MP40. Sadly, the flank was a bit too shallow. And there were no smoke grenade chambers, so that's a full retreat. We also got more full that are being upgraded by Jesulin with MP40s. Flak half setting up and section they routed the full grenadiers. Good move there by Mcbain, though Jesulin seems very likely to rush in the flak half track to counter that. We also got a chuck out there. That's going to be likely a spare punted quarters on the fuel point. More advancements in the east there from Mcbain. Getting very close to that Valentine tank, but I mean, at this point, honestly, he could have checked up by now and then be ready to call in the Cromwells, which I think would be overall a lot faster than and more effective in going for the Valentine tank. And that certainly highlights that sometimes you gotta maintain some flexibility there about, like a planning and get too obsessed with certain units, it can actually cost you opportunities, because again, I mean, at some point, you can't just keep relying on the Valentine tank anyways, you have to take up. So I mean, if it's any ways faster and easier to take up into the Cromwell, why not do that? So it would seem like here that Mcbain is suffering from a slight obsession with the Valentine tank. I mean, had command points and resource flow been a bit differently, sure, could have worked out, but as it stands right now, the Valentine tank actually ends up being somewhat inefficient compared with the Cromwell. MP44 moving in, they're going to get the section that has some trouble. They should actually move up here, so that way there's fewer that can actually shoot back at them. Storm punching from the other side, flak half to them in as well. And the folks would like to take some hits there from them flak half track, less good. MG44 now defending the northern point. Of course, with the sharp hunter quarters about to cover the western fuel point, it's not needed there anyways. Mcbain really close to that Valentine tank. Really close. And there we go. Imagine he's going to press that button and call it in, but yeah. And he still has easy then a resource to take up and set up for a fast Cromwell to follow up in it, or whatever else Mcbain might want here. Focusing on top here, there's the Vickers sections and whatnot. We got the line for down there providing artillery fire support here for Jesulin's forces. Vickers down to here 5. We got 350 though versus 451, so Mcbain still has a nice victory point lead. Got the Valentine tank moving ahead, engaging the Sturm pioneers. We just gained virtually 3. Great for Jesulin, except of course the light going to get whacked here by the Valentine tank if he doesn't get there fast. Folks going to do his hard work here with the section. Troops planning around here by the church as well. Folks there just basically almost winning that one. It's just basically the sheer presence of the tank that forced them to retreat. Otherwise, with just one window to open up on, and versus 5 MP40s, Jesulin's folks going to just would have won that one. So Jesulin's got the tech ready. We've got a smoke screen down here as well, basically to obfuscate the Shrap Hunt Lamb to get to the fuel point and grab it. Not too shabby there, though. In this case, though, the Shrap Hunt quarters does find some line of sight as the smoke clears up. He could try and fire the smoke from there from the Valentine tank to help cover up. It's not an ability a lot of people use, but it can be handy. I mean, smoke projectors are overall very handy things to have on the battlefield. Section now being suppressed, 6-pounder gun opening up. Trying to take out that Shrap Hunted quarters. That might be a bit tricky here. Except with artillery fire raining down on it, and there's also a possibility of a counter attack here by Jesulin from, say, the flank. And there you go, in fact, MG44 setting up on said flank. Of course, the right flank is also open for such a counter-attack move. And so far, though, Mcbain's anti-tank gun is not really landing a lot of hits. So yeah, that didn't quite pan out there from Mcbain the way he'd wanted to. But he did cut off the fuel.
The company command post is finished and ready for use.
So it could be worse. But it could also have gone better there for Mcbain. I mean, if he'd gotten rid of that Shrap 100 quarters, that would have been a significant blow there to Jesulin, but in the end, didn't quite pan out. Valentine tank opening up the advancing Fulton Committees. Shot misses. Second shot lands a bit better, but no kills. Section joining. Oh, that's MD35. There we go. Fulton suffering heavy losses and are forced to retreat here. East side is largely British, with Jesulin focusing mostly now on just pushing up Mcbain's attack here on the left side with infantry anti-tank weapons across the flag half, and there you go, anti-tank going straight forward. A bold move here by Mcbain as he looks to finish it off. He also finally got that tech up going on, and he's gone for anvil tactics. No surprise there. We got artillery called in here, using concentration barrage to try and bombard here Jesulin position. Bantam tank does go down into Pantherfast Mcbain fire, but there you go. Airburst shells and regular shells. Mcbain with a crew goes down. A significant blow there to Jesulin if Mcbain seizes and turns it against Jesulin. Airburst shells and again regular shells just exploding. That was a bit of a nasty engagement over both sides. Oh, rocket there for there, about to get cleared up with a flak craft attack. And there you go. Pop goes the weasel. Was a close one there though for Mcbain. Also push for the car point, taking advantage of all the chaos there to just make a quick route there, and goes for another Valentine tank. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. Again, I can understand the sort of emergency feeling there to it for Mcbain, but he's kind of creating the emergencies himself at this point by just constantly focusing on the Valentine tank. I mean, it feels to an extent like a self-created problem. Solify rain down in the section. Paul Lawrence there got blown to bits though by a direct hit from the lightest Infanterie shots, or light Infanterie shots. Section moving up here, catching up the MG34. Got the Valentine tank flanking from another side though. A bold push there by Mcbain. Goes straight into a Pantherfaust, which fails to damage the engine, so he can quickly get out of there again if he has to. 331 versus 434. 3. Mcbain selects the victory point. Leader Jesulin here significantly. Folks they're advancing. 10 kills. Veteran G3. Getting up close with the full section, which is going to quickly lose out. And rapidly advancing there towards Veteran G4. In fact, we could see what. There we go. One section down here. Mcbain's men bleeding out, which was actually a big issue for the British Army in World War II. As the war went on, they suffered from increasingly large manpower issues. Which kind of makes it fun, and they actually gave them a bolter section upgrade when again, like, they actually have to disband entire battalions and brigades and whatnot to, you know, free up manpower. So sort of as replacements. Samples ever so folks got close. Close getting them Veteran 5 there ever so slowly. Sturmpani is they gaining Veteran 4. 18 kills. Definitely some very nasty gentlemen there for the British to deal with. They're running into two sections, probably constitutes a good reason to retreat. But we can also see that Mcbain is now just chucking the artillery there at Jesulin very liberally. Jesulin coming to the Panzer IV, which is going to give Mcbain's Valentine tank a bit of a hard time, and certainly punish him for sticking to the heart of Valentine tanks without consideration for Cromwell's or, well, anything else. And again, I'm not saying that going for the Valentine tank is bad, but considering the way that Mcbain went about it, I feel like that is not the optimal way of doing it. Folks, they're charging straight at the section. Vickers opening up there. 4 kills. Veteran 2. House is ready again for another blistering serenade of Jesulin. There we go, Panzer Kampfwagen 4 mobilized there for Jesulin and 1 at the 7th Panzer Brigade. And we got artillery fire there, incendiary barrage specifically here from Jesulin's light Infanterie shots there. None of them really hitting the Vickers though. I'm sure they are serving as nice warning shots there, I guess. Don't show your face here again or we will burn you for reals this time. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Someone actually did catch on fire, but that might have just been from Heinz sick burns. He really knows how to deliver those. Sappers versus the Falcon of the Ears. Unsurprisingly, the Sappers are not doing too well there, but the Falcon's able to just shoot at them from a nice, leisurely standing position. Clearly, a lot happening here from Mcbain, and then losing sight of the section there did not do him a lot of good. Though it did do Jesulin's Falcons a lot of good. It was very therapeutic for them just to wipe out the Sapper section. I'm guessing at this point Mcbain has realised he can't just keep relying on Valentine tanks and will likely try and go for the Churchill tank right now, since Jesulin will struggle with the Churchill tank. I mean, 1 Mcbain for 1 Panther 4 is not actually a large amount of firepower to bring to bear against a Churchill tank, as it can absorb a lot of hits and can also deflect the Panther 4's hits reasonably regularly. So the Churchill tank is likely his main plan for now, and will be guaranteed to give Jesulin a hard time. And Jesulin will have to either go for Yak Panthers or somehow hold out for Panthers. Of course, it also does depend on how well does Mcbain handle this Churchill tank. Like, if he makes some really good pushes with it, Jesulin could be in a really tight spot. But, I mean, even if he doesn't make, great moves with it, it can still be a problem there for Jesulin, obviously, since, again, it is just tough and hard to deal with. But it could give Jesulin more leeway, more room to sort of do what he wants to, depending on how it goes. Unfortunately, they're being shot to bits by the section. And certainly, while equipment all with MP40s is great, like close to mid-range, close range versus the section, of course, eats them up. It obviously has some issues at longer range. We can see that Jesulin is actually going for the second Sturm Pioneer squad, probably in part to repair, but I imagine he also wants those minesweepers by now, though there's also the option that Jesulin just wants more flamethrowers. Can't rule that out. Can't rule that out. So we'll have to see, but I'm guessing minesweepers here. But it could be a flamethrower, or even a Panzerschreck. Of course, they're being surrounded by Mcbain's infantry. We got artillery called in as well to disrupt Jesulin's positions. Though which positions are being disrupted, it's harder to say. Looks like the MD-34 position here that is getting absolutely plastered there among Mcbain's 25-pounder guns. Swooping through the air at high velocity, and there you go. Close one there, but the machine gun crew does survive, though it is a very, very close one. Valentine tank sitting out there. Mines being laid down. And yes, indeed, as expected, minesweepers. Since ultimately, at some point, Jesulin has to realise he needs them to help deal with all of Mcbain's mines. Plus, I mean, the extra repair speed is also pretty handy. 18 kills halfway to the 8th level there for the Sturm Pioneers. Pretty good. For Jesulin, less good for Mcbain. Though, at the same time, after Veteran 3, the bonuses they get aren't really combat bonuses. They're just, stuff that helps them repair or build stuff, or not getting murdered as badly while repairing stuff. Seizing points here. There. Line for gun there with 3 kills, halfway to Veteran 2. Section versus full grenadiers. There you go, Panther 4 hits a mine. Highlighting why was it going to do that Jesulin went for the mines, but they weren't where they were needed. And the South of Fulton putting some pressure there on Mcbain's infantry, but got the Valentine tank there moving up. Another light infantry gun for Jesulin. He's definitely focused on the infantry element here, I think, and the support weapons, but he might be overlooking something, which is the potential of a, big tank really ruining his day. Valentine tank that got Panther fast. That was a bit of an awkward move there. Mcbain, to put it mildly. Sappers are charging in, but again, versus all these MP40 full grenadiers, the sappers, in particular the ones from the minesweepers, will not be faring particularly well here. Straight to the MD-34. I'm surprised he hasn't tried considering maybe upgrading them with like heavy sapper kits, just make them a bit more formidable versus the full grenadiers. Grab the center victory point here. We got 307 versus 338. Mcbain very close to the Churchill tank. In fact, he should be able to call it in now. So I'm not entirely sure why he's doing it, but there we go. Churchill tank on the way from Mcbain and the guards armoured. That's the Panther 4 roads ahead. 19 kills. Will that man be the 20th? No, he will not. Almost got the Vickers there. Panther 4 getting a good hit on the 6-pounder gun crew. Folks, they're just hosing the section there with the P-45, hoping actually some of the shots land. Churchill tank halfway down there for Mcbain and the British Army. MD-34 close to Veteran 2. Seizing the northern victory point again. So many MP40s though. Panzer's almost good to go there for Jesulin. In the west, we got the flak half tank. It's still alive, by the way, but it hasn't really done a lot there for Jesulin in terms of like damage. It's not even in Veteran 2, which, considering how long it's been on the battlefield, is a bit of a shame since it's obviously at Veteran 2 where the flak half track really gets fun. If you're the one using it. If you're the enemy, it's obviously the opposite. It's where it gets less fun for you. But there you go. Churchill Mark 7 infantry tank out there for Mcbain. There were numerous versions of the Churchill tank. Usually a bunch of them included different guns, like some of the earlier ones only had a 6-pounder gun, whereas this one has a 75mm gun. Royals are running down there, likely to suppress here, and would also hit like Kednerfer. Jesulin trying to get away there. Nice hit there, though not quite fatal. Oh wait, Jesulin's iron grasp there of the fuel point there is routed. Churchill from another side there, getting behind Jesulin's forces. Good hit there from the Churchill tank on the Panzer 4 Balancer tank racing hit there as well. Panther on the way for Jesulin. Anthony Consumer hit 6-pounder gun following up here as well. Got the South in for a flank. Folks was counter-attacking, but that by Kednerfer here. Panther 4 taking some damage. Churchill tank could be pushing ahead, but isn't. 6-pounder gun following up here. Strong push there by Mcbain, and Jesulin was caught rather off guard by it, though he has at least been able to salvage it quite well without suffering any, losses that are sort of, massive ring. Churchill tank just racing forwards here, pushing back as Jesulin's front line as fast as possible. There you go, catching the light infantry guns. Half 8 of veterans won already, but Jesulin with the Panther, of course, will be a bit of a threat there to Mcbain's Churchill tank. So he will need more anti-tank guns and Fireflies to help deal with that. Otherwise, Jesulin should have a good shot. And oh, what is this? Artillery called in here. Rocket barrage there. 6-pounder gun crew annihilated. And the 6-pounder gun as well just shattered. Also a lot of squishy sounds there for some reason. Like someone was pulping some meat somewhere. Anyways, Panther going in here aggressively. Clearly not worried about mines or anything. Jesulin strikes for the fatherland. Deutschland. Going straight here for the Church tank with the Panther. Focus following up here to clear out an infantry that could of course be a problem. Protect the sappers. Very wise decision focusing them down, since the anti-tank grenades could be a problem for the Panther. But once they're out of the way, the Panther can just push ahead aggressively. 6-pounder gun has arrived there for Mcbain, but the assault still ongoing here from Jesulin. Trying to counter as much as possible Mcbain's gains there during that push previously. In the south here, folks, with old women machine gun just shredding it with copious amounts of lead there. Panther's heading out. Ooh, full wipe then the folks by the Churchill tank. Bit of a blow there to Jesulin and the 107th Panzer Brigade. Banter tank moving in there, 6 kills, 2 lands a good hit on the Volksgrenadiers. And now we got double 6-pounder guns as Mcbain realizes he needs something to seriously threaten that Panther. And 6-pounder guns for the time being are his best bet. There you go, penetrating hit on the 80mm of the sloped frontal arm of the Panther. There would be sort of improvements to the Panther's sort of frontal armor protection, though not so much by adding more armor except in the turret. Slightly, but actually by removing the driver's slit there on the front of the Panther. Removing a weak spot there effectively. Panther there with 1 kill so far, the also close veteran to 1. Panther 4 keeping the center victory point neutral. We got 293 versus 264. Veteran 3 Volksgrenadiers here versus the Veteran 3 section. Panther moves up. Got the Lantern tank flanking up here. Going to try and get a hit there on the Volksgrenadiers, trying at the same time stay out of range here of the Panther if possible, though. There we go, that panned out nicely. Cover destroyed, and there you go, Volksgrenadiers is just retreating. At the same time, he might want to put more pressure on the left flank here versus Jesulin. Jesulin's going for the final truck mechanized regiment. Probably to help with repairs, but also gives Jesulin the option of a King Tiger if it becomes necessary, or becomes an option, I suppose better. 293 versus 244. Churchill tank there, almost obliterating the Volksgrenadier squad in the centre. We got the Veterans 1 in the Churchill tank. Directly there from the Panzer 4 square on the Churchill tank. Churchill returns the shot, but fails to penetrate. Another hit there on the Panzer 4. Down to half health, in fact, almost. Lantern tank moving up as well to provide covering fire as well. Plus, in theory, smoke, though. So far, Mcbain has not been a big smoker. MG34 setting up. We got artillery called in here, likely to deal with the supporting weapons around here, make it harder for Jesulin to defend around the centre victory point. At least that would be my suspicion, or he might be trying to hit some of those positions. Oh, there we go, going straight for the support weapons. It's so far not landing wildly well, but it's still forcing Jesulin to fall back. Close one there. 6-pounder gun moving heavily straight into the Fulks there. That is going to be an easy kill for the Fulks Grenadiers there. Quickly hosing through the crew, though they do get suppressed in time. Lots of artillery fire there, but overall no major impact there against, except just forcing Jesulin to slightly pull back his line. Flak half tack. Still close to Vichy 2, but still not there. I mean, it's been out for quite some time now, and it just hasn't gone beyond that. Section rest the Panther, and the Ketten effort. Almost got the Panther 4 here. Could be quite a blow to Jesulin if he can pull it off. Oh, missed. Close one there, close one. Section need to get out of there. Churchill moves ahead there. Need to get out there. We got Panther, and of course we got a lot of folks with the Panther first. We've got down to the engine of the Churchill. 6-pounder guns opening up on the Panther though. Section wiped out as Mcbain and Panther forgot about it in the house there. Panther had half-health grenades off on the 6-pounder gun there. Vic is providing covering fire. More till he called them Mcbain. He's got so much munition. He's just calling in concentration barrages as much as possible here versus Jesulin. Flag half take all the way in the west. Almost got the section there with the light infantry guns. We got 6 and we got 7 kills. But right now, Jesulin's armour isn't done to repairs. We've got the mechanised regiment with repair pioneers all the way over there. So what will Jesulin go for next? I mean, he can't really go for a lot because he's still at 4 prop cap compared to the Mcbain has options there. I mean, it could seem just going for another Churchill tank, but Fireflies could also be a good option. Valentine tank very close to the ace level. Jesulin, as soon as Mcbain falls back, immediately rushes for the centre victory point to seize it. Good speed there by Jesulin, good reaction. Segmenting eastwards, nothing really happening on the far left flank. Might want to use the Valentine tank there with a lot of infantry to just begin chipping away there Jesulin's western holdings. And we do get some heavy sappers out here for Mcbain, increasing their firepower and durability. Plus they repair faster, so I mean that's also a benefit there in particular with Mcbain's Churchill tank or tanks, depending on how many it gets. I imagine we will find out in a few moments if he goes for another one. We'll find out in just a few moments. And there you go, ace Valentine tank there for Mcbain. Second versus Fulks Grenadiers. Churchill advances. Vic is joining in the fun as well. No Churchill tank yet. Maybe he's planning the Firefly, something else. Valentine tank almost knocked out 6-pounder guns there. Easy target to the Feursturm Pioneers. Churchill tank is now veteran 2. Advancing in the centre, though it is yet to be grabbed because the troops being suppressed. The Panther joining in the front as well. Mcbain so far still remaining somewhat on the defensive versus Jesulin. He's obviously trying to break through, but his methods so far are a bit tiny bit lax. There you go, another Churchill tank on the way. That's going to be more heavy armor, and he's just going to try and just raw weight to break through Jesulin and hope that basically Jesulin can't carry us that weight. Which will be interesting to see. I mean, Mcbain also may want to consider at least a bit more infantry since he is going to run into some infantry issues there in terms of numbers. Comparatively, Jesulin still has plenty. And it's heavily equipped infantry, whereas Mcbain's infantry, in fact, has not been upgraded with Bren guns. For example, in the case of the sections, whereas the sappers do have the Vickers K now, but, you know, Bren guns could be a very good addition there for Mcbain, or at least some regular grenades. Like, the more, you know, you can just chuck at Jesulin, the better, I would say here. Healing, repairing, mostly repairing, in fact, the anti-tank guns. Looks like he's going to make another assault. We got the Vickers down watch. Engaging the Fulks Grenadiers. Churchill tank almost done. And there you go, rolling out with more heavy armour there for the British Army, seizing the southern point. The Kenworth landing a nice hit on the Churchill tank. Another hit, 6-pounder guns moving out. Churchill tank rolling out. Double of those. Skirmishing here. Vickers pushed out. More skirmish in the south. I mean, clearly Mcbain is just waiting to make the push against Jesulin, and Jesulin is in no rush. I mean, he's sort of got the advantage. Like, he's just sort of playing it cool here and waiting for Mcbain to maybe commit another mistake, commit to another assault, and then, you know, sort of catch him off guard. There you go, Churchill's rolling forward to 6-pounder guns. Vickers sections going up, the Sturm pushing up the flank. Round to the Churchill tanks and the infantry. Churchill tank, they're just leading the assault back up with the 6-pounder guns. Artillery called in as well, just further disrupt here Jesulin's defence. Certainly a counter argument that Jesulin shouldn't be just, you know, so easily just keen on just sitting back, as Mcbain is of course quite keen on calling in artillery to just punish him for this. Got the Stuka strike in there, depending on from ground the point, but that's going to be limited, like how long that can keep doing so. Churchill tank need repairs, and we got the infantry at half to got here for Jesulin, a rare sight on the battlefields of Campaneers too. Panther, they're going to go focus on the 6-pounder guns, close to Veteran 2. At the same time, Bannington dealing with the foots on the right flank. We got 264 versus 167. 6-pounder gun crew down to the Panther 4, launching a good flank there. Good work by Jesulin. And we got the Lantern crew there, wiped out with the Churchill tank, 6 kills. 16 kills, not 6. And there you go, Banter tank here on the right here for some retreating foot grenadiers for Kevin on the way. Churchill tank taking heavy damage there. And encountering here some social resistance there from Jesulin. Mcbain orders the Valentine tank out, therefore it gets lost. Churchill tank there still need repairs, in fact both of them are. Of course with the sappers he can do it reasonably fast. But Mcbain has managed to secure the centre victory point here from Jesulin. And it's getting blasted, section setting out there from Mcbain and the British Army, straight into the flag half track there though, closing in eventually 2 ever so slowly, ever so minutely. Churchill tank being hauled backwards. What will Mcbain go for next? Fireflies? Cromwells? No, he can't go for that. More Churchills? Maybe no, he can't go for that either. I'm guessing it's either Cromwell or Centaur here. Or he could go for the section to just provide more artillery versus Jesulin. And that's in fact exactly what happens. We got the section self-propelled artillery piece out to Mcbain and the guards armoured. Jesulin seizing the southeastern victory point there. We got 247 versus 167. Panther moving out, close to Veteran C2. Need to fix up the Churchill tank. We got the van section there firing away. Machine gun under fire. Ooh, directed in like Kednev, almost taken out there in fact. And there we go. Wiped out. That's a pretty good start there for the section, wiping out Jesulin's Kednev crew. Panther 4, Panther engaging here. Mcbain's right flank. Almost taking out the Valentine tank. But it does get away. 6-pounder gun crew wiped out with the Panther 4, floating up the other side. 6-pounder gun seized. Good push there with Jesulin on the right flank, taking advantage of Mcbain's success in the sentence. Focus to sort of push up the right and quickly outmaneuver Mcbain. 2 thumbs up there to Jesulin. That's a really good push there. Destroying the other end to tanking as well. This just keeps getting better and better there for Jesulin. Mcbain has been caught really unprepared here by Jesulin. He's looking to punish Mcbain hard. Grenades almost taking out the 6 Nego section, wiped out in the church. Mcbain is in a really tough position now, as Jesulin is just rapidly punishing Mcbain. He's now looking to use the centre victor punch. Well, we've got 247 versus 149. Mcbain's going to have to pull off something really impressive here to turn this game around. I mean, they still have roughly the same force sizes, but just the way that Jesulin's maneuvering compared to how Mcbain is maneuvering is almost like night and day. Valentine, or section moving out there. Valentine tank in fact done the repairs. They could use it also to call in extra artillery from the Saxton. Churchill going for the centre here. Still nothing happening on the left flank there from Mcbain, by the way. More sections out from Mcbain as he realises he does need more. Jesulin launching his infantry at the Churchill tank to threaten with Panther Faust. And getting the Sturm Pioneers to repair the Panther, very good. Having lost his other Sturm Pioneer squad, the mine sweepers already, though at this point. Mcbain doesn't have any mines down, so I guess it doesn't matter as much. Troops are reinforcing.
Ready to plaster a target.
Panzer 4 flag half track car in the centre, Churchill moving on, and we need to be careful about that. Sexton ready to fire again. Plus, of course, got the concentration barrage, meaning Mcbain now has access to a lot of artillery here versus Jesulin. Which again can make it much more difficult and dangerous for Jesulin to enact true defensive strategy here versus Mcbain. There you go, 600 crew wiped out by the Sexton. Machine gun repositioning, troops charging forward through the centre, we got running straight into the Churchill tanks here. And for the half-tank, of course, is helping Jesulin also plan out its attacks a bit. I mean, in that regard, it's providing with valuable intelligence versus Mcbain, who's finally rushing for the western victory point and the eastern victory point. Not much artillery there, though, from Jesulin, from the concentration barrages, anyways. Polskos in the centre there being blasted to bits. On the west side here, we got the section of the flak half-tank, and it's about to hit Vetsny too. Finally, it only took it. Oh, well, never mind, it didn't get there still. I think it's now been out on the battlefield for like half an hour and it still hasn't hit Veterancy 2. You know, Jürgen, I was told there would be promotions. We've been on this battlefield for like ages and we haven't gotten anything. Ooh, Bound about to get knocked out. Can Mcbain salvage it? And there you go, concentration barrage unleashed. And of course, he still has also the concentrated Sexton barrage, which will allow him to fire the Sextons more often, a bit like how the artillery field officer can do the same with the Panther rifles and 25 pounder gun, or the light field howitzers. More artillery raining down here on Jesulin's main line. What is Mcbain planning?
Damned enemies trying to take a
That's the big question here. We got 237 on and 14. Great hit here from the 6-pounder gun on Mcbain's Churchill tank. Both are by way either Veteran 2 or in this case Veteran 3. Section sneaking up here on the flank. Sexton ready to fire as well. And unleashing hell again there on Jesulin's positions. Firing in the south here. Section versus Feursturm. Feursturm once they got close should have the upper hand there. 27 kills by the way for the fatherland there. Definitely some iron crosses on the way there, I think. Shots either bouncing or fence punch at the Churchill tank.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
Troops setting out, seizing the western point. And there you go, Panther moving head straight into the line of fire of the Churchill tanks. Panther shooting. Light infantry guns firing away. Seizing the southern points. Mcbain is finding himself very much in defense. We need to do something to break this. He's down 114. We've got the Firefly on the way from Mcbain. Self-propelled anti-tank gun, as British Doctrine called it, on the way. Panther 4 there, very close to the Veteran 4 as well. We got 25 ring down there from Mcbain. Ooh, wipes out, I think, a unit down there. Fulton squad annihilated. Clearly did not anticipate that one. 233 was 109. Firefly almost done. Got the Valentine tank racing southwards. What could Mcbain be setting up for here? More Fulton guns for Jesulin and the German army. Firefly almost done there. Going to work to fix up the other Churchill tank. Seeing another Churchill tank down right side. 100 points left here for Mcbain. What is he planning? Looks like a flank maybe. There you go. Firefly ready. Adding the tank commander. Could also add the Chula rockets. But no. So what is Mcbain planning here? Like, he's going to have to do some sort of big upset here against Jesulin. Panther moving up the right flank. Looks like Jesulin's ready to take Mcbain in his flank. Sexton firing away there.
Enemy causing trouble. Trying to
Shooting around here. What is he planning with that, I wonder? Fight here around the curve points. Focus almost wiped out. We got 75 points left in Mcbain. Panther can get engaging the Bantam tank head on. Folks are caught by the Churchill tank. Firefly going straight for the Panther 4 here. Direct hit. Panther 4 combat blitzing. Trying to get out of there. Firefly there's not letting it get away there easily. Another hit. Oh, actually that's a miss. In the far west, we've got the Bantam tank going up here. Going straight for the flag half track. Everything following up here. Smoke's been popped on the flag half track as it gets out of there very, very fast. Assault continues on the eastern side. Looks like we're seeing a pincer maneuver here from Mcbain, though, with a very, very weak left pincer. But even then, it might draw away Jesulin's attention line. The main push here. It's now passing from the east through the centre. Overwhelming isolated units as Jesulin takes the bait and goes to the Valentine tank. Oh my goodness. Charging straight here through Jesulin's centre there as he's suddenly caught off guard. Valentine tank just racing through it all. Landfield gun cleared out. 6 about to go down. Valentine tank finally explodes, but it's done its part and again allowed Mcbain to crush Jesulin's centre like a bug. All of a sudden he's just isolated his units. Artillery raining down there as well. Churchill saying about they could clear out the infantry half deck. They need to focus down the Panther instead of splitting up the Churchill tanks here. I think that's a mistake there actually by Mcbain, splitting them up here. Oh, so where's the bloody Firefly? There we go. Almost got the Panther here. King Tiger out. Infantry half deck down. Flak half deck by finally reached Veteran 2, but it took it forever. Panther gaining Veteran 3. Might get the Panther here. Oh, shot missed. Churchill could go down here instead. The Firefly moving in. Panther down. Panther down. Panther 4 there in target spots as well there. Firefly misses. King Tigers arriving here on the front line. Flak after they're firing away their Churchill tank. Oh, Panther 4 is down. Jesulin is getting destroyed here by Mcbain. King Tiger there shoots, misses the Churchill tank. It's a disaster. Like Jesulin just went from a very dominant position to an absolutely rotten position in a matter of moments thanks to one hell of a bait and switch by Mcbain. Good God. Sturmpan's about to get wiped out. Like there's 219 versus 58 and Jesulin is just... He's down to 2 Feursturm, a machine gun and a King Tiger as an opponent with several Churchill tanks, Fireflies, a Sexton and some infantry. Holy smokes. Talk about a comeback. King Tiger is rushing in here. Jesulin realizes he probably just has to do as much damage with the King Tiger as he can. Like, if he slows down now, Mcbain could very well crush him. So he has to take advantage of Mcbain's current weakened state, I think. No, he backs off. He backs off. He doesn't go further in. Firefly almost down with Mcbain, except he can't get it out. He's at almost full pop cap there. He might actually want to cancel just for more sappers. Oh, we're getting repairs there done on the Churchill tanks. Very good. They are heavily damaged, and possibly this downtime for them could be what Jesulin might see as an opening here to sort of win against Mcbain still, because Mcbain is low in victory points. Calling in the Valentine tank instead of the Churchill there. Calling in more sappers. I mean, again, if Jesulin can't bleed out Mcbain here, he can still win, but like, it's looking a bit grim there. It's looking a bit grim. Make no mistakes. But it's really Jesulin's like best shot right now. In that regard, one argument being that maybe Mcbain shouldn't be too concerned with repairing the Churchill tanks, at least that back in the base, and might even be willing to lose them, and just try and like leverage his control of the battlefield more actively versus Jesulin without losing the victory point. Because again, like this could very well be the way that Jesulin wins. That just Mcbain gets too focused on fixing up his armor back in his base, really he's just be chucking out everything on the battlefield. That in fact might be what happened there. I mean, again, even trading off one Churchill tank to actually get that second Firefly out might actually have been the right choice for Mcbain, because right now he's down to just 42. So who knows? Mcbain here might have played too cautiously with that again. Remembering he's actually in a pretty weak spot victory point. So now he's charging out there from the base, but it could prove to be too late here now for Mcbain here. He's even charging in the Sexton, certainly highlighting Mcbain's desperation. He perhaps realizes he might have made a mistake there. Point blank fire there on the King Tiger, going for the southern victory point here. 24 points left. Oh dear, Jesulin might still end up winning this. He might still end up winning this despite an otherwise crushing sucker punch from Mcbain. He might still win this. Simply because Mcbain then proceeded to forget he had next to no victory points left and acted like he didn't. Oh my goodness. Such a comeback and such a absolute throw. Oh my God. So there you go. GG, game over. A brutal, spectacular fight here on Lost Ladder between Jesulin and Mcbain with some spectacular moments, and again a spectacularly unfortunate ending for Mcbain, who was so close to winning but just kind of forgot he was shot on the victory points. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment, tell a friend, tell a family, and press that bell button. And if you like what I do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Every donation allows me to keep doing this day after day. So thank you all for joining in. You all are a wonderful audience. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for another signing episode.